Next up is Mr. Dennis Wimavoya, our Comanche Nation Realty Department. Before Dennis gets started, he has a staff member, and I was hoping he'd bring his presentation forward. We're going to have to do this presentation of what's happening on the Red River. We're going to bring that forward at Tribal Council. A lot of big things happening on the Red River. I'll give you a quick synopsis. And the good thing is, with our attorney, with Mr. Stephen Lee, with our Kiowa friends and our Apache friends, is coming to Texas, Oklahoma, the KCA on the Red River. The river's moved north. There's about 166,000 acres that we need to collectively, as a sovereign nation, do a reclamation. Believe it or not, people, we actually have Comanche allotments, Kiowa allotments in Texas right now. Now, Texas people, they want to file suit and say it's theirs. So by our activity, the Bureau of Land Management from the federal government, they went down there and did a survey. Well, seems like the Texas senator didn't like that. So he called for a House bill, and it was passed by Cole to go resurvey it again with the Kiowas, Comanches, and Apaches in consult of that. Bottom line is this: is there fracking ponds on our land? We'll find out. I've often told Chairman Comalche and Chairman Comartley, we've got to say, where's the rent? So there we go. Might be our own form of Cobell, but it's something that we can't ignore. We cannot give up our sovereignty, which is exactly what sovereignty means, is our trust land. With that said, go on ahead, Dennis.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Dennis Wimavoya, and I'm the director of the Comanche Nation Realty and Land Acquisition Department. And we have a proposed budget this year of $1,264,640. Of that, it's administrative costs of $514,640 and a land acquisition of $750. Last year, our budget was $1,024,000, which we have an increase of $200,000, just over $200,000 request for this year. This year, we're proposing some new avenues that we want to explore. Like the chairman just talked about, is we're doing a lot of research on the water rights and the land that we could have claim to, whether it's a tribal individual or KCA. Is something that we have to look into so that we don't lose that ability. Excuse me. There you go. Our budget consists of about 59% of land acquisition, 27% of administration, 6% of contractual, and 8% contractual, and 6% of indirect cost. Our staff is, I'm the director. Stephen Lee is a realty specialist who does a lot of research and knows the ins and outs of research and land ownership, and he's been real instrumental in helping the chairman out in the research. Milton Sovo has been with us for a couple of years. He's our agricultural and natural resource individual. He's the one who's been instrumental in increasing the lease that we were getting on our agricultural land. For the most part, the Bureau's been just leasing it for the same amount year after year. Well, Milton has changed that for us and has got an increase in a lot of the land that we have, agricultural leases. Kim Ferguson's been with us. Ferguson's been with us for a couple of years, and she's the administrative assistant. This is some of the responsibilities that we're charged with, and in particular, and one of our main responsibilities is the fee to trust applications. happy to report that we have put 2 properties into trust. We put the college and the Apache Community Center into trust this past year. Right now we have an application for the what we call the McIntosh property, which is property out there by Elgin. We also have, let me get back to our responsibilities. We have a Cobell buyback program, which we've been applying for consideration, and we are on the list to be contacted. Matter of fact, we have a meeting with them at the end of next month in March. Then we'll sit down and discuss some of the particulars. According to the information that they sent us, that they'll be coming and buying property for us in 2018. But we're starting the preliminary work on that this year. We also have property management that we're involved in managing the properties that the tribe owns, not just the agricultural properties, but the buildings that we own too. Like I said, agriculture management, then mapping, which Stephen Lee has been involved in mapping. And then we provide a tremendous amount of assistance to tribal members who call and ask us about their trust property and questions that they may have, or ownership, and looking up some information for them. So if you have questions about your trust property, then please give us a call, and we'll do what we can to answer your questions.
What's your phone number, Dennis?
Our phone number is 580-699-3818. Yes, 580-699-3818. And these are the properties that we're considering for free to trust applications. The Elgin property, which is, I mentioned to you a while ago, that's already in the system. We've already submitted that application. We're within a week or so from submitting the funeral home application. We started the process to submit an application for our assisted living center. Then we're going to look at the business center, the ICW building, this is the Elgin property, and it's supposed to have had a map with it. Now, there's the funeral home, and Stephen is working on this one, and he'll be submitting that within a week to 2 weeks.
Dennis, there's a absentee Comanche asking, why did it take so long to put college in trust?
Okay, and I don't know why, other than it's something that they started several years ago, and then through the difference in change in administration and dealing with the Bureau, it's just a timely process, and it's not something that we can just go in and do. And the Bureau has all their departments that have to look at the application, and including environmentals, but to say why it's taken several years, I don't know. It just we just kept addressing the things that they asked us to address.
I can address that. You guys are getting it done now. So, that's really monumental, historical. Really, it's historic.
This is a picture of the business center, which we'll be making an application for that one, for this one this year. This is the ICW building, which is just east of the business center, and we'll be submitting applications for this one to be entrusted also. The Elder Center, and the Elder Center has already been submitted, and it's been put on hold for some reason. According to the Bureau, there's something that's not right in the application, so we'll find out what that particular is and address that issue. There is a deed on file in the courthouse that shows that the Elder Center to be in the ownership of the United States of America and trust for the Comanche tribe, but the Bureau don't recognize that as being in trust status, so we'll have to find out why and then make that change, make that correction. This is the property that's referred to as the Sharp property and the Sullivan property. The Sharp property is the one next to the road that's out there. It's on the left of the screen, and the Sullivan property is on the right of the screen. We've already submitted applications, and we'll have to redo those and resubmit them. And this is the Edith Gordon Assisted Living Center that we're making the initial application for that one. We just started the paperwork to have an appraisal done, to have the abstract brought up to date, and have it so that we can have a title commitment. And we should hope to have this one done, submitted within 2 months from now. We also have been charged with property management and managing all the properties that we own in Lawton. Rogers Lane, this is the address that where our office is, and we also lease part of this building to the gaming facility that we have the property at number 2 Southwest D Avenue, which is the Historic Preservation Office. Number 1 and number 5 is what we call the Keith Yacchione building that we have our health facilities in. We have the CHRs in there. We have prescription assistants and optometry. And then 1001C Avenue is where we have a building there that we lease to Intertribal Visions, where they have a screen printing service there. And we also have the Elders Council in that building. And in the rear of that building is the daycare management office. This is the building at 302 Rogers Lane. This is our Historic Preservation Office, which is at number 2 to number 10 Southwest D Avenue. The Keith Yacchione building, which is number 1 through number 5 Southwest D Avenue. And 1001 Southwest C Avenue, which is the Intertribal Visions and Elders Council. Our Agriculture Natural Resource Program deals with lease negotiations, lease compliance because of some of the conditions of the lease. It means that the people who's leasing it has to take certain measures to keep the property in good condition. And Milton also is doing a lease inventory of the land that we have under agricultural lease, and he's also helping Stephen with dealing with the water rights and mineral rights. And Milton is involved in a new program called the Carbon Sequestration. Excuse me, and it's a program that another entity has come to the tribe and is trying to find a way that we can get some resources from carbon buyback, not buyback, carbon deposits that's being put out there. And like I said, our cobalt buyback program will be gearing up here in probably between now and the next year. We'll have a cooperative agreement that we've already submitted, we've already prepared, and we'll fine tune that, and so that we'll have things in place so that we'll be able to start buying property in the year 2018 according to their plans. Is there any questions? Yes.
Okay. Yes, I have a lot of questions. I don't know where to start. Okay, I wrote some down. Well, one thing, we need a detailed financial report. I forget how much money the realty department has
Gabby,
spent in the past, but I
Gabby?
know it's quite a bit.
Gabby,
Yeah.
at General Council, I'll be passing out our actual land holdings that our nation has. Our actual land holdings.
Okay. Okay, I got 1.5 million from 11 to 15. That's a realty. Okay, that's an important one right here. I didn't fully calculate the amount of money that we spend in the land budget. I think it was about 22 million, probably more, since we first started the land. And I looked at our audit, and I think we still had about 12 million for land. And it has land and, I don't know, art and other items in there. So I don't even know how much land is. So it seems like we got a serious evaluation problem on our land, Maybe it's valued as what it's worth, because we overpaid probably most of our land in the past. Okay, now, about the land in trust, we got about 2.5 acres in trust so far, And Obama, well, he's gone now, and he was one that was his administration was putting the land in trust for 8 years. We could have done something, and we didn't. Now, it may be too late. I don't think Trump wants to put any more Indian land in trust. So for that reason, that's really important. So I don't know what's going to go with all these applications, what's going to happen to them. But I just want everybody to know that, what happened. So, we need to revise our job descriptions in that realty and advertise for people that knows what they're doing, that will do their work. Okay, let's see, what else? I think we had some water problems. I don't know if they fixed it, but I think we bought that house for the housing authority, or realty is. I think we bought it and we had water problems when we bought it anyway. I don't know if it's fixable. It's been like that before we bought it.
Jimmy, could you address these questions? Because you've done all the corrections, plus since I've been here, we've done many corrections. Yeah. What you're speaking about is past administration, sir.
Yeah, okay. No, you
can leave Gabby the mic. It doesn't matter. I can answer.
Yes.
Good morning, Gabby. In the past history, yes, when they purchased that property, there were issues with water, with flooding. And since then, in working with Realty Department, they have done some, not landscaping, but irrigation type activities to reduce the amount of water flow into that building. And that was one of the reasons why the gaming board had left that property, but now they're back. So most of those issues have been remedied. Would you agree?
Yes. As long as they don't have debt problems in there, I guess.
I mean, these are all things that we've spent this last year and a half looking at, trying to like fix a lot of these issues. So we're definitely on a good path and, remedying a lot of these challenges. But when you talk about the initial moving into that facility and whatnot, yes, there were a lot of issues, a lot of questions, but that's, the history of the property. But currently, it's, things are really have changed and moved into a positive way. I mean, we have capital improvement involved in addressing all of our properties that the nation owns to fix all those issues that for years they have just, completely ignored and let them fall apart. So, and that is one of the issues with that particular property.
One more question.
Sure.
The federal government, they have, it's been a while, I don't know how many years, but they allow tribes to do the leasing authority. And I think I know some tribes have already done that. So I don't know what our plans are with that situation, but like I said, we need to get people in there that knows what they're doing in order to get these things started. That was my important recommendation. But I like that land budget now that we have a good CBC, well then we can, get some property that's in trust, that we can buy in trust and not be wasting all that money. But we do need some land procedures, like when we buy land, the day after that, then we start putting it in trust and we don't buy fee land, different things, soil tests, appraisals, business plan, something to do with it. Don't tell us how much land out there that's just sitting, we're not doing nothing with it.
Land acquisition was passed on the general council floor, and land acquisition, the way it was passed was for us to buy trust property. Why the past admin bought simple fee, I'll never know. But that was the pass, Mr. Narcomi. Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Tipicani.
I would say this, looking at Trump's policy, don't worry, I think fee to trust can still be going. The other thing I'd like to say is, at the initial acquisition, if you work with the Bureau, at that moment in the acquisition, if we let them know what we're doing, we can move it into trust at that time. Rather than wait later, purchase it fee simple, and then go down the road and later bring it into trust. You can do it in the initial purchase. So that's something to look at with the Bureau of Indian Affairs.
I agree. Thank you.
And I believe there's a landlady right next to you. Do you have a question, ma'am? Oh, she's looking around. Okay.
I have several questions, and I just can't remember. Milton Sovo's been working with you for about 2 years.
Yes.
He took over, when he visited our elders council, he introduced himself and he said he's going to do what the Bureau was supposed to have been doing all these years. So we didn't even know he was working for the tribe until he came to the elders council to introduce himself. Now, I've yet to go talk to him about my property, but I hate to say me, but my problems go, a lot of people have the same issues that I have. And it's been a long time. There was a meeting in the past where they said they were going to start marking the Comanche properties. So we'll, because some of the men that worked on them before, like Sherrard and those guys, didn't know where our properties were. All they gave us was a number. A lot of us know where our properties are, but the ones working on them didn't. So like this McIntosh by Elgin, is that on Tony Creek Road?
Yes, it is. Well, just off of Tony Creek Road.
Which side?
On the east side of Tony Creek.
The east side of Tony Creek.
Yeah, it's behind those houses on Tony Creek Road. Yeah.
Okay, what are we going to do with that property?
Well, we're looking at economic development of some sort, whether it's commercial, realty, or gaming. We don't know yet. But we're going to try and put it in trust first and then move forward.
And there's a property below Porty Hill, but they bought from the Cars, and they said that they were going to use that for the police training rifle range at one time. We wanted to know why they bought it, because it's kind of a long strip. So nobody's doing anything with that. And I'm sure it's on
yeah,
trust.
It is in trust, and why they bought it, I don't know. I did hear that the police wanted, the law enforcement wanted to have a shooting range there, but that's all I heard, and nothing else about that. So
Right. Well, we have tend to buy property from people that just need money and favorites of the chairman at the time that needed money. So, we need to stop doing that. And like Gabby said and Mr. Tipicani said, do the paperwork immediately. The building in Apache, the community center, has been over 21 years that it's been sitting there, and it just now got into trust. And another thing I wanted to mention was that when you fill out these applications and you put the name on that application, like the Elderly Nutrition Center needs to be addressed as the Elderly Nutrition Center, not the Elder Council, because we're two different things. And I keep telling, every time we talk about it, people get mixed up. The Nutrition Center, it's a Comanche Nutrition Elderly Center, but it's for everybody. The Comanche Council is for Comanches, 62 years and older. We need to establish the right name when you're putting these things into on paper, because the elders been pushed around from the college back and forth, different places. Now we finally got a center that we can call our own, and we need to make sure that it's called the Elderly Council Center.
okay, we'll do that. Yes, I agree.
Thank you. I had one more question. With the realty office, and is Mr. Selvo here?
He's not here today, no.
Okay, so I went to the Bureau several years back where I was trying to get some property fenced in, but they don't do that anymore. And he said they only do it for grazing or when the white man rents it. And he said, we do so much of the fence line for them. And I said, well, why are you taking care of the white man? I said, they're leasing our property. They're making money off of their whatever they make. Why are we building fences for them when you won't help us to fence in our properties? So is there a way that your office can help the ones that don't have a clear fence line to?
I can't answer that directly right now, but I know that we will look into that for you, and if you'll come talk to us, then we can get the particulars and see why and what happened and see how we can go about it. But I do know that a lot of the conditions on leases is that the lease man fixes the fence or he puts a fence in. But
the Bureau's doing it, half of it for them.
Well, what I'm saying is that I don't know the particulars, but we can find out for you, and we can help you find out. But
okay. Well, thank you.
Come see us.
I appreciate everything you've done. And that down below Yellow Mission, they're digging into that creek. Is that what's helping that? Your realty office drain? Is that what they're doing?
I don't know. Down there, no. Our drainage problem is from the lack of proper drainage from the rain runoff. So it wasn't from the creek itself. No.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Dennis, before you leave, could you address the people about the Cobell land buyback? I believe we're going to have a consultation soon.
Yeah. I did mention that we will have a meeting with them on the last week of the March. I call them their advanced party team. Is going to come and talk to our staff and the elected officials about the program and what to expect and when to expect it. They did say in the email that they look to start the actual acquisition process in 2018, whether that's January or December, I don't know, but that's what they said in their email.
That's our Comanche Nation Realty. Thank you, Mr. Wimavoya.